All right, guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at SoundHound. So we talked about this one a couple days ago. I think somewhere around here, around 11 bucks. We were talking about potential of a 12. In my case, I was watching 11.79 being as a pivotal area for breakout, and also potential gap fill of that Nvidia drop that wasn't filled before. So it went as far as to fill that gap of 1340 or 1345, some high from there. If we go back to February when that announcement came, we had this gap. So now, after filling this gap, stock pretty much fell right back down to 200-day moving average. So sellers showed up, and if we take a look at this chart right here, we can see, yes, there were profit takers who pretty much sold off the name, and now it's back there. So this level wherever it bounced today on July 14th, this is the 200-day moving average area. Also 50-day moving average is right there. But I'm going to zoom out a little bit more and show you guys maybe this. All right. So yeah, we do have from April or so sort of an uptrend. Stock is making higher highs. Yeah, we can say it's making higher highs, higher lows. So as long as SoundHound just trades in this channel, sure, you do have an uptrend. So if you're bullish, sure. But as soon as the stock falls below $10, that will fall back to pretty much this choppy shenanigan area of 11.79, and I was looking at a lower end, and I have an alert as well, 9. So if it comes back to this zone, then it can pretty much chop around in this area. But as long as it stays above somewhere around here, up until they report earnings, which is coming up in the beginning of August. Actually, there's a lot of time, August 7th. Then sure, I would be watching this breakout area if the stock gets back above this area of a 1350, which I'm watching as a resistance for the stock. Above that level, we have 15 to all the way like 17, this zone as a resistance. Okay. And then, of course, year to date, the opening price. That's why I'm putting this title as a 40% down, because that's where it closed in 2024 at around $20. So in order for the stock to be positive in 2025, it needs to get back above 20 bucks, which is almost 90% rally or so from wherever it's sitting right now at 11.45. So regarding options, there's not much happening. Volume, faded back a little bit. But also, we have basically Fed rate decision, FOMC, at the end of July. So that can help pretty much all the small caps. And some of the small caps were doing already well, but maybe some are waiting for this Fed meeting where, everybody knows that they're not going to cut rates. But if they're going to signal that they're about to, which market is already pricing in September, market is pricing one cut, and then in October or so, their market is pricing another cut. But we will see essentially if there's going to be a signal that that they're thinking about cutting the rates. Small caps in general, like if you watch Russell 2000, which is lagging overall market, just turned positive for 2025. So if you do look at this purple line that I put right here, this is the closing price of a 2024, and we're just hovering around there. And this is pretty much massive, sort of like a head and shoulder, if you want to look at it that way, to me. And if it does break this pattern, we can just draw it something like this. I mean, small caps will catch a bit. I'm not talking about SoundHound particularly, but if that happens and SoundHound somehow on their earnings it doesn't sell off or it just stays above, yeah, sure, it can squeeze and it can push with the overall market. So far, what's the short interest on SoundHound? SoundHound has been pretty much dead money in the past, like ever since pretty much it sold off after Nvidia. 33% of the float is short. So yeah, you might have that short rally. Market capitalization 4.6 billion. But yeah, that's the quick update for SOUN. This is not a buy or sell recommendation. I think it's going to chop up until maybe even earnings report. But after OPEX, actually, option expiration, this is pretty big option expiration. And after earnings, I would want to see the catalyst. But before then, yeah, we have FOMC. So July 31st or so. Up until then, yeah, I think it's going to be in premium burning mode unless it clears this resistance of where it rejected 1340, 1350 area. So if it clears this level, sure, I would be watching this name to the upside. So far, neutral to the chop. So that's the update for SOUN. That's what I'm watching. See you in the next one.